Gooners, degenerates, fellow men and women of culture. We're back at it again with this crap. So if you were feeling down with all the wholesome rom-com and fantasy shows coming out recently, don't worry, because I'm here, Mr. Anime, to satisfy your inner demons. So get ready to suck everything that comes out of my mouth today. Actually, that sounds kind of disgusting. Anyways, today I've got the top 10 legendary ecchi anime that are straight out of the depths of hell. So without further delay, let's dive in, because we all know why we're here. To start off, we have Makenki. Makenki is the kind of anime that tries to pretend it has a plot while burying it beneath mountains of jiggle physics and flashes. It's set in a co-ed school where students fight using magical weapons called Maken. But that setup is just a dressing for what is essentially an ecchi compilation. The protagonist is bland and indecisive, and just the kind of guy who magically attracts girls like a frickin' magnet. I never understand how that works. And try thinking of a guy like this in the real world. The only thing the dude will be attracting is a PDF allegation. Every major female character is ridiculously over-glamorized and somehow always ends up in situations where their clothes explode or they fall onto him in the most anatomically impossible ways. Combat scenes are flashy, but feels like they're just there to find excuses to rip off outfits. The entire show is a fever dream of jiggles, cliched moments, and where the main character unintentionally grabs you know where, and constant blushing that gets us nowhere. It tries to sneak in emotional moments now and then, but those are just quickly bulldozed by the next bathhouse scene or training exercise that basically turns into a family-friendly foreplay. Not so family-friendly then, is it? So bored and got nothing to watch? I recommend giving this one a try. Then at number 9, we have Rosario plus Vampire. Take a regular high school anime. Now replace every student with a monster. Make the girl a vampire with a transformation sequence that involves her clothes evaporating, and that's Rosario plus Vampire in a nutshell. The main character, an average kid, ends up in a school for monsters where he's the only human and apparently the only guy with no survival instincts. Instead of running, he just collects monster girlfriends like Pokemon, all of whom are obsessed with him for no clear reason. The show flips between harmless school comedy and weird supernatural battles, but let's not kid ourselves here. This anime was made to flash you with you-know-what every 30 seconds. The vampire girl's transformation from soft-spoken girl to silver-haired vampire dominatrix is the only thing that gets more screen time than the school's suspiciously breezy uniforms. Even during life or death situations, the camera never misses an opportunity to pan just right. So is it entertaining? Sure. Appropriate for a family gathering? Well, if you're seriously asking that, you probably need a tremendous amount of help. Coming up at number 8, we have Kiss X Sis. There are some questionable anime out there, boundary-pushing anime. And then there's Kiss X Sis, an unapologetic nosebleed-fueled disaster that crosses the line even before you could watch an episode of Overflow. The premise is simple, and by simple, I mean absurdly disturbing. A teenage boy is relentlessly thirsted upon by his two stepsisters, both of whom are infatuated with him in the least subtle ways possible. The worst part, the show plays it straight, like this is somehow cute or normal. Forget misunderstandings or accidental slips, this anime goes full throttle into the taboo territory. There's a reason this series is iconic, and the sisters aren't coy, they're aggressive. Kiss X Sis makes Oremo look like wholesome family television. The comedy doesn't soften the impact, it magnifies the weirdness. Every episode feels like an endurance test, and how much can you cringe before your brain taps out? So you may give this show a try, but hide in a bunker far away from human civilization as far as possible. Please, please, please. But don't worry, you won't be alone there. Then at 7, we've got To Love Ru. To Love Ru is what happens when you mix sci-fi harem tropes and a complete disregard for clothing physics. The main character is a magnet for chaos, and every episode is a reminder that the laws of probability do not exist in anime. Alien girls land on him, literally. And to return the favor, our dude trips almost every 2 minutes and grabs underwear like it's a superpower. Oh yeah, in this universe here, clothing is an optional choice. Characters don't evolve in this show, they multiply. With each season, a new girl is added to the pile, all obsessed with a most indecisive and bland protagonist in the multiverse. If you thought Monster Musume was unhinged, To Love Ru takes it 10 steps further, replacing any semblance of logic with maximum skin exposure. And if by any chance you're still wondering if this show is family friendly, let's just say you'd get whiplash trying to explain this show to anyone not deep in the anime trenches. Although some of you might enjoy that, I hope you get what I mean. So with that in mind, give this one a shot. After that, at number 6, we have Sekirei. This anime pretends to be a sci-fi battle anime, but beneath its surface is a thinly veiled excuse to showcase some absurd jiggle physics. And not to mention non-stop suggestive encounters, the not-so-important premise is about how super-powered women known as Sekirei bonding with ordinary guys by kissing them because apparently tongue-to-tongue is how you activate genetic warfare now. And by any goddamn chance this crap actually happens in real life, I'm signing up for the front lines. I know damn well that you degenerates are gonna follow me in. The combat is flashy, but it never really is about the fighting. It's about who can look the most questionable while throwing energy blasts. And while there's constant lip service about battles for survival, the stakes feel about as real as a beach episode in Fairy Tail. Every moment that could have leaned into real sci-fi intrigue instead shifts towards bath scenes and clothes getting ripped apart in battle like it's part of the uniform code. So we both know why you're here for this one. You want to watch something stupid and fun. Well, this is certainly the one. Next up at number 5, we have Trinity 7. This is what happens when someone tries to write a magical school harem anime while adding every fan service cliche you could think of. The story starts with a bang, literally, as the world ends and the protagonist finds himself in a magic academy surrounded by 7 beautiful girls, each with a different set of powers and a wildly impractical outfit. The plot pretends to be deep, throwing around terms like thema, archive, and grimoire, but it's really just decoration for the ecchi buffet. The main character is one of those rare harem leads who's actually aware he's in a harem, and he leans into it. He flirts back, embraces the chaos, and somehow becomes more overpowered as the girls get more attached. From the cliched accidental grabs to some questionable magical clothing, every serious moment gets undercut by a reminder that nobody in this universe has ever heard of a dress code. Visually, it tries to impress with spell effects and flashy duels, but you always end up back in the bathhouse or stuck in a scene where gravity seems to affect only the female cast's chests. It's High School DxD without the demons, Date Alive with even less shame. Trinity 7 is entertaining in the way junk food is. It has no nutritional value, just guilty pleasure. Give it a shot. Next at number 4, we have High School of the Dead. I never thought I would put zombie and ecchi in a single sentence, but hey, here we are. So a zombie apocalypse sounds grim, right? But this anime is like, screw that, let's make it. This show takes survival horror and blends it with physics-defying anatomy and flashes you with jiggle physics every possible chance it gets. It's not even about getting chances anymore. This is a show that creates its own chances. Yes, actual scenes exist where a bullet flies between a girl's bouncing you know what in glorious slow detail. Honestly, props to the animators on this one. The show knows exactly what it's doing and it never apologizes for it. There's a lot of screaming, gory kills, and moody music, but every single episode has at least one moment that stops the zombie plot in its tracks just to remind you these girls are stacked. But that one episode, that show was centimeters away from turning into an adult anime. With all that in mind, give this show a chance, cause you will regret it if you don't. After that, in the third spot of today's list, we have High School DxD. This is the Attack on Titan of ecchi anime. Cause if there's one anime that throws subtlety out the window and torches the rulebook for modesty, it's this one. From its very first episode, this show makes it clear that you're signing up for demon girls and certain not-so-YouTube-friendly body parts with their own gravitational field, and a protagonist who thinks with everything but his brain. This guy is the definition of a shameless pervert, and somehow the universe rewards him with a harem of supernatural beauties. There's a loose thread of plot involving fallen angels, devils, and sacred gears. But let's be real, no one is here for that. But talking about the plot, the main character does have power-ups like a classic shonen hero, but yep, you guessed it. Instead of screaming the power of friendship, he's powering up by doing some pretty questionable things to his female teammates. High School DxD tries to marry ecchi with action, cause with all the crap, This show has some pretty good action and the animation is good enough to make Blue Lock and T-Bait fans want to throw themselves into the ocean. Then in second place, we've got Prison School. So some drunken degenerate was giggling like an idiot thinking of his childhood fantasies, and this anime is what he came out with. This show takes the standard guys who are thrown into an all-girls school trope and spikes it with BDS, I'm not gonna finish that word, sweat, and absurd levels of suffering. The 5 male students are thrown into an underground prison for peeping on girls, and what follows is a non-stop parade of punishments, power trips, and an absurd amount of tension among characters, which isn't so family-friendly. But what makes Prison School stand out is how seriously it treats its nonsense. Every shot is cinematic, every monologue is delivered with the intensity of Death Note, but instead of moral dilemmas or psychological warfare, it's about how long a guy can hold in his, you know what, I'm just gonna stop there. Cause I can't talk about anything here, not even the characters, cause some character designs are so absurd that I don't think it'll be even safe to show them on YouTube. So you wanna see something wild and absurd that'll melt your brain? Watch this. But at the top spot of today's list, we have Kill La Kill. Kill La Kill is a visual explosion of style, insanity, and absolute disrespect for conventional storytelling. It's what happens when you give Studio Trigger an unlimited supply of Red Bull and a license to go completely unhinged. On the surface, it's a battle anime about school uniforms that grant superpowers, but underneath that is something you probably don't want to catch you watching. Ryuko, the scissor-wielding anti-hero, wears an outfit so skimpy it makes Queen's Blade look conservative. It's more of a I can't say word, but it starts with Bond. Yes, it's more of that type of style of a suit. The action is loud, over the top, and often brilliant in its choreography. Well, let's be honest, the show leans heavily into ecchi logic, making the whole thing quite unique. It's self-aware, yes, but self-awareness doesn't make it any more family appropriate. It just makes the fan service smarter. So, wanna watch a show with great action and get as well? Well, speak of the devil, this is perfect for you. Well, that's the list for today, guys. If you're able to make it this far, please be sure to comment down below on which anime you think should have been on this list. Also, don't forget to press the like button. And hey, if you've been here a while but haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and press that bell icon. It set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.